started Boost in 2000. I had studied design at Otago University, left Otago in 1994, joined Avalon Studios at a multimedia design company at the end of '94. Worked for a while, did a bit of teaching, went overseas to teach at a design school in Kuala Lumpur and came back to New Zealand and started Boost with Tom Hovey in 2000. We were mainly doing CD-ROMs back then and a lot of educational multimedia. You know, it's hard to pick particular moments. I think one of the things we've really strived for is to make things kind of even. You know, not to have really high highs and low lows. And so when I look back, there's been times when things have been when we've done really cool stuff, and I suppose the stuff that's been the cultural changes have been the big shifts for us. So when we built the leadership team, that was really an exciting time working through what would make that valuable to the business and make the business flourish. We've won awards along the way. Most of them, you know, have been great, but there was one in particular that we produced a CD-ROM to teach writing in Te Reo for Māori students, and that was really well received by the students themselves and was the first resource, digital or otherwise, for teaching Te Reo. Writing in Te Reo, and that was an amazing project and really proud of that. What sets us apart and what our clients really like is that we're driven by values and purpose. So when we are working with a client, it's because we believe in their project and we want to achieve the impacts for them that they're looking for. So the majority of our work is for organisations that are making New Zealand a better place, and that's what we believe in, and I think our clients relate really well to that. The market is competitive, but we don't find ourselves competing very directly with people very often. We have very long lasting relationships with clients. We've been working with one of our clients on a project for nearly 11 years now. And that's because we continue to invest in the people and the processes around those projects. We're tracking nicely for where we had planned. We have actually got together as a team and built a roadmap for where we want to be in 2026, so a wee bit further out than 5 years, but not much. And so we call that Boost 2026, one of the most imaginative names ever. And where we want to be is $10 million revenue, 50 employees, 50% male and female, CEO elected by the team, and wholly employee owned. Ideally what we're working towards is having co-male and female CEOs elected by the team. We believe in decentralised decision making. It's come from a number of different places. Everything we do here is really informed by what we see working well out in the rest of the world, so I would say we stand on the shoulders of giants in that regard. With the decentralised decision making, we look to have the people closest to the information make the decisions and to support them to do that. That includes helping them understand which decisions they can make without any consultation with other people in their team. And we have a very flat structure to the point where nobody has a manager or a boss really. So I sat down with one of the team on Friday and asked who their boss was, and they said they didn't have one. I asked who they were responsible to, and they said the team. And I think that's really what makes us different. Instead of having bosses, we have coaches, so everybody at Boost has a coach. The interesting thing about that is that, you know, a cynical take would be that they were bosses by another name, but it really is quite a different process where the coach is invested in the employee, in their personal and professional growth, and really trying to help them be the best they can be. So it's not a reporting line, but it's a one of support, so it's a supporting line. We've been a certified democratic workplace for the last 7 years. What that means is that we adhere to 10 principles around freedom in the workplace, democracy in the workplace, and that includes fairness and dignity, decentralised decision making, purpose and vision, and keeping all those values and principles top of mind when we make all of our decisions. So when we're working together, we're always trying to move forward on each of those dimensions, and we run an anonymous survey every year run by World Blue, who are the certifying agency for the democratic workplaces, to evaluate where we are and what we need to work on that year. One of the things we do is we poll the team every month on how happy they are at work. So a very simple question: how happy are you at work on a scale of 1 to 10? And we have done that since 2015. So we now have a reasonable amount of data, and when we plot that all out over the years, we can see a steady incremental rise to the point where we're now averaging about 9.3 month to month. So I think this month's 9.2, last month was 9.4 out of 10. We really believe in transparency, so that number is on the about page of our website, automatically placed there by the system we use, so at any time anyone can come and see how happy the people at Boost are in their work. My goal is to create the happiest and most productive workplace in New Zealand. I believe happiness and productivity go hand in hand. You can't be productive without being happy, and you can't be happy without being productive. And by measuring that, we can make sure that we're on track to achieve that goal. We regularly ask the team other questions as well. So the happiness question goes out once a month, and then in the intervening weeks we ask all sorts of other questions. How's the management team doing? Do you feel valued at work? Would you recommend the company? What do you suggest? What kind of animal would Boost be and why? So we collect feedback every week, as well as collecting feedback through the coaches. Feedback from the coaches gets fed through to the navigators, who are our leadership team, and then one of the navigators is tasked with closing the loop on that feedback to ensure it gets actioned. The key is that we try to work with human nature rather than against human nature. So rather than deciding what people can do and how they do it, we try to move those decisions to the people themselves. And I think that's had the biggest impact for us as a business. Just in the same way that you don't decide how fast your car can go, you accept the performance that it provides. We have to do that with team members as well. And I think that's the key to be able to work at a sustainable pace and ensure that you don't burn out your teams. I think that it's good to always keep love in your heart. So in all of your conversations, whether they be with your team, your suppliers or your customers, interacting with, holding that position of kindness and love, I think is essential to having fruitful relationships. One of the biggest is to enjoy the ups and downs, so think of it more as a roller coaster where you enjoy both parts of the ride. Business is not a straight line to success, and if you invest too much in the ups and too much in the downs, then it can really be difficult to stick with it long term. So finding a way to enjoy the fear and move past it's very useful.